She brought an international gold medal to the island. Who is she? Let's take a look on our primetime news tonight.
Good evening, you're watching Primetime News on MTV Sports. My name is Ravi Gamage.
And I'm Punshani Evrisinger. As always, let's start off with a look at your headlines.
Finance Minister says only go-karts have been exempted from production taxes and not racing cars. President visits Kazakhstan. Clashes continue between Israel and Hamas militants in Gaza for a sixth day. And a petition filed in the Court of Appeal seeking an order preventing the Select Committee from examining the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice.
A tense situation arose in Parliament today following a statement made by MP Tiran Alas regarding opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe.
මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කතා කළේ නැහැ කියලා චෝදනාවක් කරලා තිබුණා.
Instead of dealing blows to the government, he is dealing blows to the parliamentarians on his side. Last Thursday, he dealt a blow to me as well. He accused me of not speaking in parliament. The biggest problem that the opposition leader has is that I do not speak. It's like he has no other problems in the country to speak about. He keeps asking about my speeches. Today, most of his MPs have been muzzled. They have been prohibited from speaking in parliament. I kindly ask that he allows them to speak. It is your responsibility. I can still remember how the opposition leader, who was the Minister of Education at the time, removed my father from the position of principal of DS Senanayake College, and then inside this very parliament chamber, he said,
සභා ගැමේදීම කිව්වා Alas will never come back to DS කියලා. නමුත්
But in 1988, President Premadasa reinstated my father as principal of DS Senanayake College, and the current opposition leader was removed from the position of Minister of Education and given another portfolio. I do not know whether he continues to bear any vengeful thoughts towards my father and my family as a result of this, but using the position of opposition leader to carry out acts of vengeance is wrong. I ask him that for every minute that he holds the position of opposition leader, he should work to strengthen the opposition. He had proposed to the Speaker that I should be given a prize for setting a world record for not speaking, but I am disappointed that he has forgotten the world record set by him. I am going to read these out now. He has set the record for being the only opposition leader in the world to have lost more than 20 elections. He has also set a world record as the only opposition leader to be defeated at 2 presidential elections and then put forward an external candidate for the next presidential election. He has also set a world record as the only opposition leader to have lost 3 general elections. He also holds the record for the opposition leader who sent 60 parliamentarians over to the government during his tenure. If I am to read out all these records, I will have to speak the entire day. Not only that, if we are to present him with prizes for his records, then we will be presenting a large amount of prizes. We will also have to keep aside a separate prize. That is because if he contests the next general election, he will definitely lose. So we need to keep aside another prize for that world record.
ඉතින් ඒ ලෝක වාර්තාවත් තෑග්ගක් වෙන් කරලා තියන්න වෙයි.
එතුමා කිව්වේ කාරණේ අනුව මම එකක් කියන්න කැමතියි.
I wish to say something about what he just said. We have done everything that an opposition needs to do, and this parliament knows that. Up to now, no one has blamed us for it. There was only one criticism, that one MP had not spoken in 3 years, and now today even that MP has spoken out. The entire chamber, even the speaker, could not get this done.
තුමත් කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අනික් මේ මුළු සභාවේ කතානායකතුමයි කාටවත් කරන්න බැරි වුණ එක. LTT එක කතා කරලා LTT දුන්න සල්ලි සාක්කුවේ දාලත් නැහැ. මම එක සැරයක් මම තරඟ කරේ
Order. Order, please.
Okay.
Order. You can't make a speech. You can raise a point of order and resume your seat. No, Honorable. You can make use of another opportunity. Order. I am in the chair. Order. You are not in the chair. Order. Order, please. You will be sent out. I have the right to point out I am in the chair. As long as I am there, I will uphold the dignity of the chair. Set an example to your members. This is what is happening to you. Yeah, Honorable Vasudeva. You can...
Sabhavattumani.
You are... The whole nation tells you are not fit to be the leader of the opposition. Mr. Tiran has told in so many words. Okay.
Mona sampradaya.
I wonder what tradition the opposition leader is following now. This is the tradition that the UNP introduced with this constitution. They preach about the supremacy of parliament and the supremacy of the judiciary, but then they come here and show scant respect for parliament.
එකට ගණන් ගන්න නැතුව හිතුවක්කාර විදියට මෙතන හැසිරෙනවා.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa commenced a 3-day official visit to Kazakhstan today. The presidential media unit said that President Rajapaksa is visiting Kazakhstan on an invitation extended by his Kazakhstani counterpart Nursultan Nazarbayev.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa, who left the island this morning, arrived at the Astana International Airport in Kazakhstan this afternoon. The president was welcomed by a state delegation comprising of several members. The presidential media unit stated that several bilateral agreements are to be signed during the president's visit. The president's visit is also aimed at strengthening bilateral ties with Kazakhstan, which is a key market for Ceylon tea.
Religious observances were held yesterday and today to mark the birthday of President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the completion of the second year of his second term in office.
A special religious event was held at the Sambuddha Loka Vihare in Colombo 7 to invoke blessings on President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Meanwhile, students, past pupils, teachers and parents of Nalanda College Colombo and Thurston College Colombo, which are the alma maters of the President, organized a lamp lighting ceremony to celebrate the birthday of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. This took place at the Hunupitiya Gangarama Vihare in Colombo. Religious ceremonies were also held in several parts of the island. The week-long Pirit chanting ceremony held near the Jayashree Mahabodhiya in Anuradhapura to mark the President's birthday and completion of the second year of his term in office concluded yesterday. A Pirit chanting ceremony was also held at the Temple of the Tooth Relic in Kandy to invoke blessings on the President. A Tesattarinana Pinkama and an all-night Pirit chanting ceremony to invoke blessings on the President were held at the Veherahena Purba Ramaraja Mahaviharya in Matara. Meanwhile, the week-long Pirit chanting ceremony to invoke blessings on the head of state, which was held at the Mahasaman Deval in Ratnapura, concluded yesterday.
The Ministry of Finance and Planning announced today that only go-karts have been exempted from excise duty and not other racing cars. The ministry states that the importation of go-karts, which can only be used by one person and classified under racing cars, has been separately identified by creating a distinct HS code.
Issuing a release, the Ministry of Finance and Planning stated that the importation of go-karts was exempted only from excise duty and it is liable for payment of 55% of cost, insurance, freight value and other taxes. The Ministry of Finance stated further that the objective of this tax concession is to improve the sports economy and tourism activities and thereby increase the country's income. The release adds that the importation of cars, except go-karts, is liable for payment of 200% to 350% of CIF value as taxes, depending on the cylinder capacity of the imported racing car. During the debate on the second reading of the budget in Parliament, the Minister of Sports stated that an opportunity has been provided for sportsmen to import motor vehicles that can match international standards.
Racing car drivers in this country have been racing in Fiat cars. Races were held in Kandy recently and there were a large number of foreigners who came to witness it. What all of them told us was that races cannot be conducted with Morris Minors, Fiats and old Toyotas. Therefore, these competitors have been afforded the opportunity to bring cars that can match international racing standards.
Meanwhile, UMP parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe expressed these views during a public rally held in the Kantota area in Malabay yesterday.
Exemptions were proposed in the budget for racing cars. Now they have no answers after I pointed out that people have to contend with the fire in their stomachs while they fire up their Lamborghinis. The ministers are now saying that only go-karts were exempted and not racing cars. They are attempting to change this.
Anusha Kodituaku won a gold medal for Sri Lanka at the Tunisia International Women's Boxing Championship last Friday, bringing pride and glory to her motherland. Anusha, who clinched gold in the 48 kg weight class category, was invited to News First newsroom this evening to speak about her experience and achievement. The interview with Anusha Kodituaku is coming up on Sports First tonight, so stay tuned for that.
A petition was filed in the Court of Appeal today seeking an order to prevent the Select Committee appointed to examine the impeachment motion against Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike from examining the motion. The 11 members of the Select Committee have been cited as the respondents in the petition filed by Chandra Jayaratne, a resident of Colombo. The petition will be taken up before an appeal court bench consisting of Justices Sri Skandaraja, Sisiradi Abru and Anil Gunaratne tomorrow. Meanwhile, a Bodhi Puja was held this morning to invoke blessings on Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike. The Bodhi Puja, which was held at a temple located in Colombo, was organized by the staff of the Supreme Court.
Issuing a media release, the Lawyers for Democracy, or LFD, has expressed its concern over the process that has been adopted to impeach Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike. They note that the recent incident, coupled with the impeachment motion, are a direct attack against maintaining an independent judiciary, a fundamental element in a functioning democracy. The LFD has urged that the impeachment process meets the basic principles of the rule of law and natural justice and provides the Chief Justice of Sri Lanka due process and justice.
The Lawyers for Democracy notes that the impeachment follows in the wake of several other attempts in recent times to interfere with and intimidate the judiciary, the most recent incident being the attack on the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission. The LFD also states it is dismayed by the recent developments in the Parliamentary Select Committee that has been appointed to inquire into the 14 charges brought against the Chief Justice. The LFD notes that based on the limited information publicly available, it believes that the impeachment procedure provided by Standing Order 78 of Parliament contravenes natural justice and is incompatible with the Constitution of Sri Lanka. LFD therefore supports and aligns itself with the view of the Special Rapporteur on Independence of Judges and Lawyers, Gabriella Noel, that the present procedure to impeach the Chief Justice is incompatible with both the principle of separation of power and Article 14 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The organisation in its media release further notes that proof of any misconduct committed by the Chief Justice has to be decided by a body that can look at the allegations objectively, impartially and not politically. It notes that composition of the Parliamentary Select Committee, which has 7 members from the government and 4 members from the opposition, raises a fundamental issue of bias and fairness. The LFD states that it is alarmed by the irreparable damage the exercise will have on the judiciary and rule of law in the country. The LFD also noted that according to reports, the PSC has attempted to limit legal representation for the Chief Justice and has not provided the Chief Justice with adequate time to respond to the charges being levelled against her. They have also expressed dismay about the fact that the Parliamentary Select Committee did not examine previous PSCs, in particular the one established to investigate into allegations made against former Chief Justice N.D.M. Samrakun. The media release also notes that the LFD is shocked that the Chief Justice of Sri Lanka is not provided with basic legal protection, raising further concern about the independence and impartiality of the entire impeachment process.
Speaking at a media briefing today, Venerable Madluave Sobitathera expressed his views on the impeachment motion that has been brought against the Chief Justice.
A select committee has been appointed to examine it. Those appointed are government politicians. It is being examined by 7 members from the government and 4 from the opposition. It is they who hear it and it is they who give the decision. It is they who recommend the punishment to the president as well. The decision is already clear. If it is 7-4, all of them will be working in a biased manner. The decision is clear.